Hi, welcome back to Mr. Menta's ELL Classroom. Today we're going to be starting Chapter 3 of the Red Book, where we're going to talk even more about food. So, it's a lot like Chapter 2 actually. A lot of nouns, a lot of ways to talk about food. To complete this lesson, you're going to need this page, page 19 of your textbook. You do not need to print that one. And this page, page 21 of your activity book. You will need to print this one. So you can find both pages, as always, in the description of the YouTube video. So, our chapters always start the same way. That is a discussion of the vocabulary words that we're going to be using in the chapter. So over here we're talking about buying food, describing food, eating in a restaurant, and recipes. Recipes are how to cook food, like instructions. So, here we go. Let's go over these together. You'll notice that they have a lot of new words to talk about how much food we have, quantities of food. That's the big thing they want you to learn in this chapter, quantities. So over here we have soup, but it's not just soup, it's a can of soup, a jar of jam, a bottle of ketchup, a box of cereal. And notice cereal's spelled with a C. So you'd think this would be cereal, but this is cereal. It's just one of those times English is weird. A bag of flour, a loaf of white bread. So this word loaf, that's just a quantity of bread, loaf of bread. 2 loaves of whole wheat bread. Notice here, so we have different kinds of bread, white bread, whole wheat bread, and when we have 2, it's kind of an irregular noun, and it becomes loaves, loaves of bread. Number 8, a bunch of bananas, a head of lettuce, and yes, we really do say this, a head of lettuce. That's what we call it. You're going to hear it all the time. The book is right about that one. 10, a dozen eggs. Dozen is a special word, actually. Dozen means 12. So anytime we say dozen, that means 12 of something. Okay? Dozen means 12. A pint of ice cream. Pint is a unit of measurement. A quart of orange juice. Again. 13, a gallon of milk. 14, a pound of meat. 15, a half pound or half a pound of cheese. Okay? All right. So those are our vocab words. Let's get some practice. So, if you take out this sheet, what we're going to do is we're going to practice these words that they just gave up here: bag, bottle, bunch, box, can, dozen, gallon, head, jar, pound, loaf, loaves, and of. And we're going to put them together with the words that they go with. Okay. So, let's start the first one. Jack is going to buy food at the supermarket. Jack's shopping list. A can of soup. See? A blank blank lettuce. What are the words that go here that we use to describe lettuce? Remember? I just talked about it. So, fill all of these in. All of these in. I'm going to practice talking about our quantities of food. That's how much. Quantity means how much. And then, when you're done, come back to me, and I'll go over the answers with you. All right, so pause the video. Fill in the worksheet. All right, did you pause the video and fill in the worksheet? If you didn't pause it yet, pause it now. This is the first part of first lesson in a chapter, so I'm going to take a minute and remind you how important it is to really write the answers. Take your pen or your pencil and write the answers. Do not just watch me. Do not do that. You won't learn anything. If you care enough to sit and watch this video, care enough to print this out and write the answers. And if you don't have a printer, write the answers on a separate sheet of paper. The writing is really what helps you remember this, okay? You don't remember stuff you just watch. Writing helps embed it in your brain. All right? So let's go over it. A head of lettuce. A bottle of ketchup. A pound of cheese. That's a lot of cheese. A bag of flour. Number 2. Jennifer is going to make breakfast for her parents. Jennifer's shopping list. A box of cereal. A jar of jam. A loaf of bread. A bunch of bananas. A dozen eggs. Notice we didn't say a dozen of eggs. The word dozen is different. The word dozen just means 12. So a dozen eggs means 12 eggs. Number 3. Mr. and Mrs. Baxter are going to have a birthday party for their daughter. The Baxters' shopping list. A pint of ice cream. What would we call that? Cookies. Bag of cookies? I'm going to go with a bag of cookies. Maybe a box. You can have cookies in a box or I'm going to say a box. A box of cookies. A bunch of grapes. We say bunch especially when we have fruit that's stuck together. So a bunch of bananas, bunch of grapes. A probably pound of meat. A loaf, they were all plural. I apologize for that. 2 loaves of bread. So that's 2 pounds of meat, bunches of grapes, boxes of cookies, pints of ice cream. They were all plural. Your shopping list. What are you going to buy this week? Okay, so I hope you wrote something here. How about 3 boxes of cookies, 2 bunches of bananas, 1 pound of meat. What else can we get? A can of soup and 2 jars of jam. Something like that. Okay, so that's the beginning of Chapter 3. I will see you at the next video.